Join us now, Representative Jim Jordan of Ohio. He's the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, and I'm glad to have you on, even though it's a phone. I know you're in the great state of Ohio, Congressman. I mean, we heard something similar a year ago from, I think, Facebook, sort of copying to the same thing, and I mean, is this similar to this with Facebook? They weren't allowed to put anything out about the laptop, I don't think, or the lab origin, the Wuhan virus lab origin. Yeah. Is this similar? Is it the same things that they were banned for, or different?
Very similar. You know, Google or YouTube admitted yesterday that they, like these other platforms, were censoring, were being pressured by the Biden administration to censor speech. I mean, you got one of these, you know, Google is it's a huge market cap company censoring, you know, half their customers in essence. And I think the big takeaway was they're going to reinstate people that they'd actually taken their channel from them, that they kicked off. And then they also said they committed to never use these fact checkers like these other platforms, you know, these independent fact checkers who think they're so much smarter than the rest of us. But are just biased individuals. So we thought that was a big news. And then I think that maybe the fourth thing that we heard from them was, look, what's going on in Europe. We've all seen this with the Digital Services Act, the Digital Marketing Act, are very troublesome. So here's a company who said, yes, the Biden administration pressured us. We, in fact, did it. We kicked people off, took their channels from them. Those people are going to be reinstated. And we've admitted that what we did was not consistent with the First Amendment in any way.
Through the good old days, though, it wasn't called censorship. It was called content moderation or rooting out. Hillary still talks about rooting out. It's got to be done. It has to happen. Yeah. Rooting out disinformation or misinformation in the eyes of the beholder, which was one of the problems. This is not going over well on with Democrats, though, Congressman. Representative Jamie Raskin issued the following statement. Today's letter from Alphabet has the ring of a false and coerced confession, like the shameful capitulations to Trump's shakedown of broadcast companies. And we can talk about Jimmy Kimmel in a second, and law firms. This humiliating performance is the bitter fruit of Trump and MAGA's relentless pressure campaign, forcing corporate America to submit.
No, I think it's missing the facts, because remember, the Biden administration, I think we citizens should never forget, they established a disinformation governance board, Joe, as if some bureaucrats can tell you what you can say, what you can read, what you can post, what you can tweet. That actually happened. And but for a bunch of us all over the country saying this is ridiculous, that bureaucrats are going to decide what is misinformation, disinformation, what you can say, that is so inconsistent with our First Amendment liberties. And because we all spoke out, they disbanded that, thank goodness. But that's what's going on here. Not some shakedown or anything like that. They did it. They admitted to it. And you know, never forget, too, what they were censoring was responses and comments and tweets and posts about how they handled COVID. And I always point out, everything the government told us about COVID turned out to be wrong. They said it wasn't our money used at the lab. They said it wasn't gain-of-function research done at the lab in China. Those are both wrong. They said it didn't come from a lab. Well, it sure did. They said the vaccinated couldn't get it. They said the vaccinated couldn't transmit it. They said masks worked. They said 6 feet social distance was based on science. And then they told us first virus in history where there's no natural immunity. So they were 0 for 8, and yet they were censoring people who disagreed with all the crazy things they told us. So that's how bad it was. And now Google has admitted, just like Meta did a year ago, that, we were pressured to censor. We did it. We're wrong, and we're not going to do it in the future, and we're going to change the way we handle things going forward.
And Congressman, the Jimmy Kimmel situation, it was clear to almost anyone what late-night so-called comedy shows, what they sort of are actually all about. Not a lot of comedy, but maybe 500-600 Democrat or left-wing guests. Maybe you can count on your hands the number of so we know exactly what it is. Okay, so then Brendan Carr, and it's the public airwaves. I guess, you know, he had the right to say those things, but it certainly gave the left a huge gift in terms of now they're all, you know, First Amendment advocates. Who knew? But was that a mistake when he threatened the licenses of broadcast networks?
Here's what I know. It turns out if you're a late night show, you should probably not insult half your potential audience, and you should probably be funny.
But they're allowed to
and
do
I
that,
think,
Jim. They're allowed
Yeah,
to.
I
If they
understand.
want to do that, they can do that, which is why they
I
get the
understand,
ratings they
but-
get.
Yeah, but Nexstar and Sinclair said we don't particularly like that for the multiple markets where we have ABC affiliates in, and they said we're going to take him off this. This was a business decision. Don't insult half your potential audience and actually be funny. And if you do those things, I don't think you see Nexstar and Sinclair take the move they did. So I view this as the old Michael Jordan line. Republicans buy sneakers
but now
too.
you open up.
Republicans watch TV too.
You open yourself
That's
up
what's
to
going on
the coercion. They want to get regulatory approval for a merger, and you could say that that's what is behind.
Congressman, can I just read you something? This is what the President of the United States says. And you tell me whether you think this sounds like coercion or not. I think we're going to test ABC out on this. Let's see how we do. Last time I went after them, they gave me $16 million. This one sounds even more lucrative.
Well, I mean, I don't think you can say this is the pressure from the government because ABC put him back on. I didn't stay up and watch it, but I think he was back on last night. So how is that the government's taking him off the air when in fact the ABC themselves, Disney made the decision. Oh, we got two of people we do business with, Nexstar and Sinclair.
Right, I'm saying, but
a number of affiliates.
But that does
and then
sound
they put him
like
back
pressure
on.
from the government, right? But there's pressure. It may not be successful pressure, but it's pressure from the government.
I guess you can say maybe some, but I don't think that's what drove this. I think this was a business decision. I mean,
what do you make of what your peers
to watch the
like?
show.
What do you think of like what Ted Cruz said about this? He said government shouldn't be in this business of trying to pressure anybody about free speech at all.
No, fair enough. And look, I think we should be defending your right to speak, the most important right we have under the First Amendment. I always say if you can't speak, you can't practice your faith, you can't share your faith, you can't petition your government, you don't have a free press. So the right to speak is so important. I do believe what Mr. Carr is pointing out is that public broadcast airwaves are slightly different than what the Democrats tried to do, which was on platforms, which is on cable television. They actually, there were two Democrats who wrote a letter to AT&T, said, "Are you going to take Fox and some of the and Newsmax off of your network?" I mean, it's like, you got to be kidding me. So that's where the Democrats were, and now you have the FCC commissioner make a statement, and they're all up in arms about that. When in fact, I think you can look at this was a business decision. If the government didn't influence, as evidenced by the fact they put him back on last night.
Would this ever get anywhere if someone tried to say, look, for the public interest of the center of the country, it's not being served by a broadcast network on the public airwaves? You could say that, or you could say it's essentially a campaign ad for the left, or I mean, it's not much different. It's really not much different at night. What if you watch it at night? It's not much different than that. It's fine.
Yeah, well, I think the country, and I think this is probably Nexstar and Sinclair's position as well. I think the country kind of like the days when I still remember Johnny Carson and
right.
It was funny, and it was and they poked at both sides, but it was done in a I think a fair way, a good way. And he had things like, I still remember the Jack Hanna from the Columbus Zoo going on Johnny Carson, and you had the whatever animal was on that night, jumping on Johnny's hair and everything else. So I mean, it was humor and stuff you could watch. So many Americans just don't want to watch this stuff anymore.
No,
you can see why.
For 4 years, Biden or a Democrat would go on, when Biden was a president, would go on Kimmel's show. It was almost it was almost homage. So they don't divvy it up equally. They don't make fun of people in power. They make fun of the people in power that they're on the opposite side of. All right, Representative Jordan, enjoy your time in that great state. The Reds lost last night. Reds lost. Mets won. They're one back. They're one back again.
Diamondbacks won too.
And Chicago's lost like six games in. Come on, Chicago. Come on. See you, Jim. Thank you. See you later.